Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to be sharing with you guys a little bit about nonverbal communication in the working world. Nonverbal communication consists of messages expressed without words, such as kinesics, which is the body movements and gestures regarded as a form of nonverbal communication. Vocalics refers to a nonverbal use of voice that indicates emotion, provides cues on how the messages should be interpreted, such as pitch, tone, rate, and volume. Haptics is the perception of objects by touch. Proxemics, the use of space that people feel is necessary to set between themselves and others, and chronemics refers to the use of time and punctuality. First impressions. Body language makes up 60 to 65% of all interactions. Nonverbal communication is not 100% accurate. Nonverbal communication is ambiguous, therefore, it is always rooted in assumptions. There is no way to avoid nonverbal communication, whether it is intentional or not. Our facial expressions and body language are always portraying a message. So, our posture says a lot about ourselves. The way you sit at your desk when you're at work can reflect your attitude towards your job or show how hard you're working. If you're sitting to relax, it may appear that you're not working or you don't care about your job. You're just there to get paid. Many of us pay attention to our facial expressions, not so much our hand, leg, and foot movements. So, our facial expression obviously says a lot, but so does our hand, foot, and leg movements. So, if you're fidgeting, it may appear that you're nervous. If you're moving your leg and foot, it may show that you're either impatient. If your arms are crossed, it may appear that you don't care, you're just listening because you have to and are trying to continue with whatever else it is you have to do. Gestures. So our textbook had this example in this chart, which shows different gestures and how they could be perceived in moderate form and when exaggerated. A forward lean, for example, in moderate form could be conveyed as a friendly feeling. When exaggerated, could come across as hostile. Direct eye contact, same thing, could come off as friendly when in moderate form. However, when exaggerated, can come off as hostile. A unique dress and hairstyle in moderate form could show creativity. However, when it is exaggerated, it could show rebelliousness, like you're trying to make a point by being different. Upright posture in moderate form could show expertise and self confidence. However, when exaggerated, it could show uptightness and hostility. Variability in voice, pitch, rate, and loudness in moderate form could reflect a lively mind. When exaggerated, it could convey nervousness, anxiety, and insecurity. Smiling in moderate form, friendliness, relaxed, and secure composure. However, when exaggerated, you're masking hostility or submissiveness. Averting gaze in moderate form can convey shyness and modesty. However, when exaggerated, it could convey guilt and unreliability. A knitted brow in moderate form, involvement. However, when exaggerated, it could convey hostility. Nodding and reaching out the hands while talking. In moderate form, it could convey self confidence. When exaggerated, uncertainty. So I thought these were great examples of, different gestures and how they can be portrayed differently depending on the situation. Personal space and distance. The distance we put between ourselves and others reflects feelings and attitudes, which affects communication. Distance reflects the relationship and it also shapes the relationship. Anthropologist Edward Hall has identified 4 distance zones that middle class Americans use. Public space is usually 12 feet apart or greater. Social space, anywhere between 4 to 12 feet apart. Personal space, 1.5 to 4 feet. And intimate space would be anywhere from 0 to 1.5 feet. Learning the importance of this can help you communicate more effectively, take into consideration people's personal space, social space, depending on the relationship you have with the person, the space may change. You're not going to be as close to your boss as you would with your best friend. So all of this just helps being mindful and help us communicate better. Nonverbal communication varies among cultures. There are 7 universal emotion expressions or facial expressions that are recognized universally. However, different cultures express themselves differently. So, the more we are aware of this, the better we can communicate interculturally, therefore, making us more competent communicators. Ways to improve nonverbal communication. Since we're always sharing a message, whether it is intentional or not, we should practice being, more aware. In the workplace, we want to make sure that we're practicing self-monitoring and paying close attention to how we behave and what we say. Self-monitoring will help us avoid unintentional conflict that could have arisen because of misinterpretation of nonverbal communication. Be genuine, show interest in others, practice immediacy, which refers to verbal and nonverbal behavior that indicates closeness and liking. So, truly try to get to know your coworkers, and it's I guess it's shown that there's a strong link to high immediacy in career success. So, the more likable you are, the more likely you are to be more successful. This is the link to the research article I use kind of as the basis for my research. Nonverbal communication with workplace interactions. Also use a textbook. I included my references, which was our textbook, Communicating at Work, Principles and Practices. Also, that chart that I used from our textbook was adapted from Northern Iowa College of Business, and then that link to the article I used. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you guys learned a thing or two. Bye.